UFC 314 is coming up this weekend, and today, guys, I have the complete betting guide for you with timestamps if you'd like to skip to any part of the video. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with many YouTube channels. Today, we are going to be going through confident picks, underdog opportunities, fights that I believe you should not be betting on, my personal lock of the week. Then we are going to get into the little more fun, unscripted part of the video, that being looking for some props and some parlays that we could possibly make, and then we are going to get into the channel betting recap. Again, timestamps are there if you'd like to skip to any part of the video, guys. Let's get started with the confident picks, guys. The first confident pick I have for you guys is going to be Michael Olestruck. Now, pause, because I can already see you ready to leave this video. Out of all of the confident picks, this is my least confident pick. Hear me out. Cedricus Dumas is garbage. He is not good at fighting, and I can't believe that he scraped together wins. Michael Olestruck is no great fighter himself, but I have a hard time looking at Cedricus Dumas in a matchup and going, yeah, you know what? He can beat that guy. The dude had one performance, and that was his last performance, to be fair, where it actually looked like where he was trying to win. And I hate making these videos being disrespectful to fighters, but I do not believe he is a UFC caliber fighter. Therefore, I think Michael Olestruck is going to get the win. I know that could go south, and I get it, but at the end of the day, this one is a confident pick of mine, but hear me out on the other ones because I think they are a little bit more solid choices. Okay, let's continue on to the next confident pick, and that is going to be Chase Hooper. As much as I hope I'm wrong in this one, because I am a huge fan of Jim Miller, Chase Hooper, since he moved up in the weight class, he has been on an absolute roll. He is getting better from fight to fight. I see Jim Miller not really offering anything at this point in his age. Like, if we're talking about a prime Jim Miller, we'd be talking about a completely different story over here. Chase Hooper is 25 years old. He's improving from fight to fight. He can hang with Jim Miller in the grappling, and his striking is improving. He's relentless. He is hungry. I think that he's going to get past Jim Miller at this point in his career. So like I said, guys, Chase Hooper is a confident pick of mine. And if you're interested, by the way, while we're talking about all these picks over here, these picks are kind of like summed up versions of what I think about each fight. If you're interested, we do have a video, a full card breakdown video already out, diving like as deep into each matchup as we can possibly get. This is just kind of like the recap for it. Let's continue on over to the next confident pick, though. The next confident pick is going to be Yan Xiaonan. I think that she pretty well beats everybody in the division besides Weili Zhang. She does have good grappling defense. Like, while it's not necessarily perfect, and I could see Virna Jandiroba getting a hold of her, perhaps taking her to the ground, I think that she's just more skilled than what we've seen. She did a good job defending against Tabitha Ricci, and I don't think that Virna Jandiroba is really, like, anything to write home about. Yeah, is she better than your typical fighter in this division? Yes, but Yan Xiaonan is actually, like, a good fighter. I can see her clipping Virna Jandiroba a lot on the way in, and perhaps getting, like, a slight decision in that. I just think that she's going to beat Virna Jandiroba to the punch. I think she's going to punch her more than Virna Jandiroba will be able to implement her game plan on Yan Xiaonan. So Yan Xiaonan is another confident pick of mine to get the job done. Let's continue on to the final confident pick I have for you guys on this card. This one, I almost didn't include it. Little bit more of a gut feeling. Sean Woodson. When I initially made my full card breakdown, I was like, yeah, you know what? I can't see Sean Woodson losing this fight. I think he's going to stay on the outside, and I think he's going to pick Dan Ige apart, especially because he's been looking a little bit better recently, besides like maybe the Alex Caceres performance. Then I've been thinking about it a little bit more, guys. And now I'm sitting here saying that Sean Woodson is a confident pick. I don't know if I want to say confident pick, and I'm sorry for like including it in this section. I just think he's going to win. A little bit of a gut feeling. It wouldn't shock me if Dan Ige was able to swarm Sean Woodson, because Dan Ige, this is kind of a step down in competition from what Dan Ige is typically used to. This is going to be a big test for Sean Woodson. But in saying that, if Ige wants to implement the wrestling, which he's been doing recently, Dominic Cruz described Sean Woodson like taking down a kitchen table, that his build's weird. I don't think he's going to get it down, and I can see this being a striking match, and I see Sean Woodson just kind of keeping him on the outside. That's kind of how I envision this fight. This is just one where it wouldn't really surprise me to see it, like if I called this one incorrectly, because Dan Ige is a phenomenal fighter, okay? Sean Woodson is kind of a confident pick of mine. I don't know if you wanted me to include that, but I've been thinking about it more as I was planning out these videos. Now, guys, let's continue on to a couple underdog opportunities I have for you. These are not necessarily picks of mine. These are not bets that I'm making. It's just if you're looking for value on the card, I personally like these to kind of flip, okay? And the first one is going to be Mitch Rapso. Sumidarji, he is, in my opinion, while he has taken on some good competition, he's a little bit of a, I don't want to say subpar, overrated fighter. 16-17 record speaks for himself. He's lost 3 in a row. He could very well lose 4 in a row. Like Mitch Rapso, he's not really all that. It just wouldn't shock me if he gets past Sumidarji, man. That's all. Mitch Rapso has some potential to win in this particular matchup. Now, this one might be, maybe be a hot take, okay? Diego Lopez is the next underdog opportunity I have for you guys. Volkanovski might have his chin gone. How many times have we seen champions, end up losing and losing again? Alexander Volkanovski, I do worry about his focus perhaps being elsewhere. I know, everybody is a big fan of cooking with Volk. I'm a big fan of Alexander Volkanovski, guys, and if we are talking about prime Alexander Volkanovski, I think he destroyed Diego Lopez. In 5 rounds, I see Diego Lopez clipping Alexander Volkanovski. I don't like how much Alexander Volkanovski leans his head back. Diego Lopez is great on the aggression, swarming forward. He's in his prime. Alexander Volkanovski coming off of back-to-back KO losses. The chin issue is perhaps there. Diego Lopez is actually a pick of mine and a bet that I am seriously considering playing. I hope I'm wrong. I'm a huge fan of Alexander Volkanovski, but Diego Lopez is absolutely live to have an upset over here. Let's continue on, guys, to a couple fights that I believe you should not be betting on. And the first one's going to be Nikita Krylov versus Dominic Reyes. Couple reasons for this one. Nikita Krylov, nobody knows where this dude has been in 2 years. Is he injured? Did he get a surgery? Has he been just taking time off? Ring rust is also a real thing. Nobody knows at what kind of Nikita Krylov is going to show up. And we're completely in the dark of this one. For that reason, I'm not going to bet on Nikita Krylov or bet against him. Dominic Reyes, on the other hand, he actually seems like he's improving, okay? But the problem being his competition level since his return. Dustin Jacoby, it's a good win. We didn't really get enough time in this fight to see a slugfest out of him. And who's not going to beat Anthony Smith? He's on a little bit of a roll right now, but I still question Dominic Reyes and exactly how back he is. You know what I mean? So this fight, I'm not going to touch it personally. I'm not going to touch this one. Too many variables. And the next fight that I do not believe you should be betting on is Michael Chandler, Paddy Pimblett. I think it's a 50-50 fight. I have no idea what to make or how this fight's going to go. That is literally all I have to say about that one. I think it's a 50-50 fight. Too difficult to call. If you think otherwise in the comments, I'd love to hear from you, man. But Paddy hasn't been all that great. Michael Chandler's taken a step down in competition. I don't know how this is going to go. Don't know. Not a clue, okay? Let's continue on to Lock of the Week, guys. The fighter on the card that I believe has as close to 100% of a chance of winning as you can get is going to be Gene Silva. I see no world where Bryce Mitchell doesn't get just absolutely dummied in this fight. I hope Bryce Mitchell wins. I hope he does. And I know he stood with Ilia Topuria. He's a very underrated fighter. He can get Gene Silva down. I know the arguments that people are making for Bryce Mitchell actually winning this fight. When I'm actually envisioning these two in the cage, I see none of that happening. I see Gene Silva laughing, dancing around, beating Bryce Mitchell to the punch. I think the speed's going to be night and day difference. And I think eventually he's just going to end up, clipping Bryce Mitchell a couple times. And unfortunately, I think it's going to be a little bit of an embarrassing performance. I get the arguments as to why people are picking Bryce Mitchell. Just can't see it. I'm very confident that Gene Silva will get the job done. I'm trying to find reasons as to why I think Bryce Mitchell will win. I was doing this in the full card breakdown too, but I just can't think of any, man. I can't think of any. So Gene Silva is my most confident pick on the card. Do I want to bet on him at those odds? Probably not. Perhaps a parlay piece, but hey, crazier things have happened in the world of MMA. Now, guys, let's continue on up the card a little bit to the more fun part of the video. And I did receive a couple comments, which I appreciate all the feedback on the channel, guys. I really, really do. Perhaps I should clarify or call this something else when people are talking about, some people were under the impression that fun parlay meant, I'm building, a ridiculous parlay or, a high chance parlay or something like that. That's not what I mean by fun, and perhaps I need to change, my wording for these videos. I meant just, hey, let's see what happens if I put all these fighters together, or let's take a look at Odds Gem right now and take a look at what the odds are for everything. It's a very unscripted part of the video. I plan out my confident picks for this video, all of that. That's important to note, so I might look into actually, changing what it means over here. Let's continue on over to Odds Gem. By the way, guys, if you want to sign up to Odds Gem, pin comment description down below. You can get a discount using code Clenbat and my link down below. What do we have over here? We have some over-unders so far. Nora Cornell, Haley Cohen. That has potential, man, over 2.5 at minus 205. But Nora Cornell always has potential to, finish a fight. Julian Rosa, Darren Elkins, over 2.5 is plus 100. Elkins could tough that out, man. If you're picking a Rosa, Elkins could absolutely tough that out. I don't hate that. I'm a big over 1.5 round guy. Like Dominic Reyes, Nikita Krylov, over 1.5, minus 165. Nothing's standing out, man. Plus money for Gene Silva, Bryce Mitchell. Wow, that's an interesting one. Don't like that one either. Over 2.5 for Diego Lopez, Alexander Volkanovski. Under 4.5 at minus 109. I also don't hate that one. It depends whether you think if you think Alexander Volkanovski is going to end up getting finished or not. Let's see what else we have over here. Marco Tulio, Tresean Gore. Over 1.5s. Nothing really is standing out to me so far, guys. Michael Olekstruk, Cedric Dumas, over 1.5, minus 170. Don't hate that either. Cedric Dumas. What picture do they have for Cedric Dumas and Mike? Wait, why is the picture the same for everybody? That's funny. Oh my god. Anyways, Sean Woodson, Dan Ige, that is certainly going to go over 2.5 rounds, so that's a parlay piece that I actually wouldn't mind, to be honest with you. Patricio Pitbull versus Yair Rodriguez, over 2.5 at minus 222. Also don't hate that, to be honest with you. Pimlet Chandler can go a while, depending on whether you think Pimlet might submit Chandler or Chandler might knock out Pimlet. Don't hate that one. There's some potential with some props. I'm going to be looking into perhaps making a prop video this week, so stay tuned for that, guys. But let's continue on over to the fun parlays to see what we can make over here. Sorry, I'm using the wrong OBS scene, guys. I'm always using the wrong OBS scene. So let's make some picks. Let's see what ridiculous parlay we can come up with, okay? Juliana Rosa, Nora Cornell, Michael Olekstruk, Mitch Rapso, Marco Tulio, Sean Woodson, Chase Hooper. Dominic Reyes is a 240 underdog now. That's crazy. Dominic Reyes, Yan Xiaonan, Gene Silva, Yair Rodriguez, Skip, and why can't we pick Diego Lopez over there? But that is already, that's already 200 times your money. If you wanted to put like even $10 on that, 2K. Not that we necessarily needed the math for that. You get the point. But what are like some like actual fights that I like to put together? So you have some big favorites over here, like Chase Hooper and Gene Silva. I'm comfortable with that, to be honest with you. I don't mind Chase Hooper and Gene Silva together at all, but I worry so much about MMA parlays because like something is bound to go wrong. Something's bound to go wrong when you're making a parlay. Like, I hate making parlays for MMA, man. I just really, really hate it. Other than that, what do we have over here, okay? What about some confident picks? Like, Yan Xiaonan, I would just play that as is, you know? Depending on whether or not you like Nora Cornell, she was almost a confident pick of mine, but, like, she has dropped the ball a couple times before. Marco Tulio's not bad, too. Like, I like Chase Hooper. Chase Hooper and Gene Silva. I just did that, man, but, like, that's probably, like, the best you're going to get for a parlay. I don't like this. Something my sister and I do every weekend, guys. If you're new to the channel, every single weekend we put 10 cents on every single underdog to see what we can get. And we were almost millionaires one time watching Bellator. 22,000. Diego Lopez would absolutely boost that up a little bit. But yeah, like there are some underdogs that I like this time around. And I don't know if I want to play them together. Like, so what are some underdogs I like, okay? Some underdogs, not Michael Olekstruk, Mitch Rapso. Like, even, not Dan Ige, man. Not Dan Ige. Dominic Reyes, I don't mind. Yan Xiaonan. Maybe Pitbull, but Diego Lopez together. But I wouldn't even play those underdogs together, man. I'd always vote those separately. It's so tough. It's so tough to make MMA parlays. But guys, let's continue on over to the final part of the video that we have over here, the channel betting recap. I am shocked that there's a bet that I lost over here, okay? I am absolutely shocked. Of course, the fun parlay, what happened to that? What happened to that? Well, I don't necessarily have the fun parlay, like, expecting it to be like, yeah, let's hit. That's a fun parlay. Like, hey, here's some choices. It could happen. The only one we hit was the one championship bet. But, of course, for our official plays, we had the Kennedy Nzechukwu one that ended up getting canceled, a two-leg parlay for 0.5 units, Lerone Murphy to win, and for the fight to go over 1.5 rounds. Joanderson Brito, that was, like, my most confident pick on the card. No, Brad Tavares was. Sorry, but, like, I was so confident that Joanderson Brito would beat Pat Sabatini. I can't believe that I lost that bet. But it's MMA. It happens. Pat Sabatini showed up. He looked phenomenal, man. He looked phenomenal in that fight. If you've been following the channel, something that I've been saying that I like Joanderson Brito in the way that he fights. I was going to keep betting on him no matter what until the wheels fell off the train. I didn't really take that into consideration when talking about the William Gomez fight because I thought that was still a really, really good performance. But now the wheels have officially fallen off the Joanderson Brito train. I made money on him for as long as we could. But now we have to reconsider a maybe hole in Joanderson Brito's game. But of course, the single unit bet on Brad Tavares to win. I wanted to do him by decision, man, but I wanted to play it as safe as possible. Brad Tavares was my most confident pick of the card. So of the three official plays that we had, we ended up hitting two of them. The Kennedy Nzechukwu one, it would have hit probably. But man, the fun parlay was a little bit shocking. Dude, you know what? Vanessa Demopoulos, Talita Alencar juiced up for that fight. She never shows up in that good of shape. I was worried the second I saw her. Reese McKee, Daniel Franz over 1.5 rounds. What can you do there? I thought that was a good call personally. And Carla Boomaang ended up getting the win over there. So not a good week for the fun parlay, but we still did have a good week, guys. If you are interested in seeing what I am betting, either that or supporting the channel, you can check out the channel membership in the pinned comment description down below, or right next to the subscribe button. Every Thursday, Friday, or Saturday morning, depending on whether or not I want to bet on any Friday fights, I'll be uploading a community members post as well as members only video explaining exactly what I'm doing with my money, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. Why don't you check out the full card breakdown right here if you're interested, where I yap about the whole card, and it's a good one. I enjoyed making that video. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. Take care.